The format of the net is live trivia. One random question we read over the air to each person who checks in. You'll have 3 answers to select from. Now tonight we're going to try something a little different. East versus West. I was looking at the check-in list from last night. There's a fairly even split between stations checking in west of the Mississippi and those checking in east of the Mississippi. So tonight I'm going to ask people on the east side of the country a trivia question about the west side of the country that most Westerners would probably know, and those on the west side will get questions about the eastern U.S. that most East Coasters would know. I'm including Canadian stations also, since many of you know more about America than some of Australia, Japan, other countries will have the option of asking non-America specific question if they prefer, just to be fair. And we'll also be keeping score to see which side of the country gets the most correct answers and highest percentage overall. Hope everybody got it. And the question of the night is, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? And let's see who's checked in so far. We have KJ6ARR, German George in Scottsdale. He plays via email and got his question correct. He would rather go back and talk to his ancestors. JR2XAI George in Kawagoe, Japan is here. KN6MIK Mike in San Diego checked in via email, as did N6MOT Mike, Little Al. Little Al in Monterey, California. KK7HLD, Dave in Portland. KF6HDJ, Brenton, Pensacola, Florida via the text line. V3RWJ, Chris in Ancaster, Canada via email, and KK7AVK Victoria in Phoenix, Arizona via email. We also have, let me break, KI7ZRI Don in Conant, Washington. These are all via the text line. N7FGP Scott in Houston. KE5MUX Reese in College Station, Texas. VK2DY Australia. KD5AJZ Alex in Pasadena. KG4BUT Grayson, Orlando, Florida, one of our Usenet controllers. KN6JLW and KN6JLX Step Larry in Elk Grove, California. AJ6EE Kevin in Anaheim, California. K8BYU Roy in Blasdell, New York, and KE2FZA John in Buffalo, New York. Anybody else want to join us? Full call sign phonetically. Twice, please.
Victor Alpha 3 Delta Foxtrot Golf. Victor Alpha 3 Delta Foxtrot Golf. Kilo 7 Oscar Golf Charlie, KK7 OGC. Whiskey 4 Alpha Juliet Kilo, W4 AJK. One, 2, port 2. On.
Okay, that'll do it for now. It's a good start. We also, checking in, we have Kilo4 APG, Bob in Leesburg, Florida. V3TFG, Jason, Oakville, Canada. KK7OGC, Fred in Reno. W4AJK, Allen in Plantation, Florida. And AC4, BR, Brian in Monticello, Kentucky. All right. Question of the night, once again, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors, or to the future to meet your descendants, or if you have a family like mine, them neither. I guess we can take that. Option 2, George in Kawagoe, Japan, JR2, FJI.
Well, howdy there, Alex. Good evening to you. Well, I didn't hear your question because I was just chatting to some nice people here. Did you have a question for me? Go ahead and let me know. Over to you, Alex.
Hey, George, well, the question of the night is, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? What does JR2FJI?
I'll be darned. I mean, both sound interesting. I like to go into the future and take some new technology with me back to the present time. But then I think going back into the past is maybe better because then I can change my life, get rich like Elon Musk or Mr. Trump, get rich and change the government and do a few things in here and there. Yeah, go back in time. Good, great question. I love it, Alex. You're really a great man here. Thanks a lot. 73 JR2FGI, Porter 1. Back to you.
Ancestors it is. Well, not quite yet. You get the question of the night, George. Do you want... I've been asking East and West, or I'm going to ask East and West Coast tonight of the U.S. Would you like a separate question, or do you want to tackle one of those? And since you're in Japan, I ask you, since you're on the other side of the international date line, what do you think?
Oh, we haven't finished it. Okay. This nice lady is looking at me. Yeah. I leave it up to you. You're the man. Whatever it is, I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I don't want to interfere with the young lady. Tell her hello for me, by the way. We'll give you an East and West question, all right? According to legend, Washington's Puget Sound, this is for East Coaster, Washington's Puget Sound was created by A, Paul Bunyan, B, Daniel Boone, or C, Martin Luther.
The Puget Sound brings back memories. Seattle, Olala. I went to studio there for a while. Well, Jesus, but I have no idea. I go with vitamin C, CC lemon. C is my answer. I don't know. JR2FGI, Porter on 73. You take care. Ciao, ciao.
Oh, no, George, it wasn't Martin Lewis. It was Paul Bunyan. Is the mythical creature, you know, that he's the West version of Superman. He carved out Puget Sound himself, Paul Bunyan. Thanks for playing, buddy. Mike in San Diego, KN6MIK. Mike, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Good evening, Alex. Always a pleasure. KN6MIK, Mike here in San Diego. You know, Alex, I think I'd like to go into the future, see what the descendants are doing. Yeah, I'd like to. Go ahead, give me one of those East Coast questions.
Okay, Mike, your question is, what are those little donut holes from Dunkin' Donuts called in New York? Little donut holes from Dunkin' Donuts. They have a name for them in New York. Donut holes. B, munchkins. Or C, dunkies.
You know, the wife isn't here. If she's from New York, or I'd ask her. Let's go with A, Alpha. Always a pleasure, Alex. KN6MIK. Back to you.
Yeah, I meant to mention that too. People do move around. Sometimes people in California grew up in New York, so they shouldn't make it difficult, I would think. But actually, those donut holes in Dunkin' Donuts in New York are called munchkins. So Next time you visit New York and you want a donut hole, you'll know what that. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Back in time. What would you do, Willow?
Well, that was a little bit of echoing going. Anyway, little Al here, N6MOT. Do you copy me okay, Alex? There was a little bit of interference there.
Oh, you're coming in fine. Guess I'm echoing, but anyway, yeah, go ahead.
In Monterey. Yeah, I'd like to go back to the future, back to see my ancestors, some family that I never got to see. Yeah, especially my dad. That would be great to see. Anyway, I'm ready for a question.
All right, little Al, to the future it is. Your question is, what's the word brick slang for in New Jersey? The word brick. Hey, Tony, it's so brick. Is that A, hot, or C, solid?
Back to see my ancestors on this one, because that's where we're all from anyway. No, I don't know. I think it's going to be a C. C, yeah. We'll go with C.
Resources say, actually, brick is slang in New Jersey for cold. Yeah, they don't know where it came from. Maybe somebody over there can tell us. Yeah, if you say it's brick, it means it's cold outside or something's really cold. So, hey, thanks a lot. Dave in Portland, KK7HLD. Dave, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
This is KK7HLD. It's brick around here. Let's see. I don't know. That's hard to say. I guess I would rather go back in time to meet historical features than my family. And I don't know if talking about which family we're talking about. So, but probably back. KK7 HLD.
All right. I think I got it down. Yeah, to the future you say, or now I'm confused.
I go to the past, I think.
That's a good idea. Okay, your ancestors got it down. Your question is, East Coast question. Washington, D.C. modifies its street addresses by adding a suffix to denote that the city divides itself into these four regions. What four regions does Washington, D.C. divide itself into? Is it A, medium crime, high crime, very high crime, and don't go outside to live regions? B, politicians, bankers, lobbyists, and everyone else? Or C, quadrants? What say you, Dave?
Well, I'd say quadrants. And of course, I don't know if you moved all the politicians out of there, it might be a nice place. KK7HLD, thanks again for you and the awesome loggers you always have.
Thank you, Dave. And of course, we're just joking. You know, it's just a joke. You're correct. It's quadrants. They divide the city into quadrants. They don't say their names. Those are kind of ad-libbed. Thank you, Dave. Brent in Pensacola, Florida, KF6HTJ. How you doing, Brent? You want to go back to meet your to the future to meet your descendants?
Well, good evening, Alex and Vicky and the rest of the net. I guess I'll have to say to the future. To be sure that none of my family members throw out my bats, because that would make me really upset and I'd have to haunt them. And I was going to say, it might be, since I am a transplant from the West Coast, that I get an East Coast question. Back to you for my question.
Well, Brent, I gotta base it on where you are now, just to keep it fair. So, well, maybe you know this. We'll see. Your question is, what's the name of the place in California? Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Each spring, the Boysenberry Festival is held at the California theme park, known for its fruits. Is that A, San Francisco, B, Knott's Farm, or C, Six Figs over California? And which one is it, Brent?
Now you really make me feel like I'm cheating, because I'm up in Southern California, been to the park several times. It's got to be B. KF6HDJ.
That's the one. That's very fun. You got it? Thanks so. Thank you, Brent. Okay, let's go to Lancaster, Ontario, Canada, V3RWJ. Chris, you ready to go back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Hey, Alex. Thanks for doing the net. As far as I know, I don't have any offspring, so I'm going to have to go into the past, see what the past is like.
That you know of. All right, Chris, your question is, okay, what's the name of the place in California that's saltier than the ocean and full of dead fish? Is that A, any Chinese restaurant, B, the La French Reservoir, or C, the Salton Sea?
I'm going to guess C, just based on the name.
Couldn't fool you with that one, huh? Yeah, it's the Salton Sea. Yeah, it's interesting how it was created. There was they were working on the canal there in Southern California, the Colorado River, and it flooded back when we used to get rain, and created the Salton Sea. All the there's like a farming area around there. They raise crops and all that, and all this drained sea made it extremely salty, and it just kind of sits there. Man's creation. Thanks, Chris. Let's go to Victoria, Phoenix, Arizona, KK7AVK. Okay, Victoria, back in time to meet ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Good evening, Alex. This is Victoria, KK7AVK. I would definitely be more interested to see what's going on in the future, I would say. So, yeah, future.
All right, back. Second. And move the keyboard again. Then your question is, that you're in Phoenix, should I do this? Yeah, I guess so. In Florida slang, what is a Florida Happy Meal? A Florida Happy Meal. Is that A, is something you tell the McDonald's worker that you're buying for your child when you're actually buying it for yourself? B, an adult purchase consisting of beer, cigarettes, and lottery tickets? Or C, a person who gets eaten by an alligator? What do you think?
wild guess is going to be Bravo. Thanks, Alex, and have a great evening. KK780K, back to net.
The woman's from Bulgaria, and she knows that in Florida slang, Florida happy meal is B, an adult purchase consisting of beer, cigarettes, and party tickets. For example, after getting into an argument with her husband and 9 children, Debbie Jo left the trailer and went to Winn-Dixie to get a Florida Happy Meal. Thank you, Victoria. Let's go to Don in Kennebec, Washington. Guys, 7ZRI, back to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants now?
Well, hey there, Alex. This is KI7ZRI. You know what? The whole cigarettes, whatever Victoria chose, sounds good to me. Drinking, we don't have kids, so we're kind of tossed up between past and future. If we're looking to past for my side of relatives, I'm looking forward to the future. Give me that question.
All right, Don, future it is. Your question is about the East Coast. Where would you find the MOM ride, M-O-M ride? A, Six Flags over Rhode Island, B, Jordan's Furniture, or C, Coney Island?
I believe this is Jordan. She says Jordan's Furniture, K7ZRI.
I thought for sure somebody was going to miss that because I've never heard of Jordan's Furniture, but apparently I think, yeah, it's a retailer in New England. In 1992, the Odyssey movie, or MOM, opened at the Avon store. It's a theme ride created by George Lucas with profits going to charity. So that's the MOM ride. Thanks. Thank you, Don. This is W7FTM in Scotts, Arizona. You're listening to the Saturday Night Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector, and we're going to Scott in Houston in 7 FGP, West Coast, west of the guy. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants, Scott?
Well, good evening, Alex, and hello, everyone on the net. You know, I thought about this for a little bit, and my first thought was I would want to go to the future, but the more I think about it, I think I would rather go back and meet or learn about my ancestors. So that's my answer, and I'm ready for a question.
Got it, Scott. Your question is, let's see, which one oh, you get a question about New York. New York City. In New York City, Scott, what is a ratchet? A ratchet. A device consisting of a bar or wheel with a set of angled teeth in which a cog engages, allowing motion in one direction only. B, an alcoholic technique from rat dropping, plentiful in New York. Or C, a woman who has a poor moral code with regards to men. What's a ratchet in New York?
Oh boy. Let's go with Charlie on that. Thanks for doing the net. N7FGP.
Scott, you misogynist, how would you think that would, yeah, that's what it is. A ratchet is a woman with a I can't put the words together, a poor moral code with regards to men. It comes from the incorrect pronunciation of the word wretched. Hey, Alfonso, be careful. That chick is ratchet. Because they couldn't say wretched. And I don't have any room to talk either. Thank you. Teresa, College Texas, KU5MUX. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
This is KE5MUX, and well, unless we have a case of immaculate conception, I'd have to go back to the future to the sisters. What's my question tonight, sir?
It has happened before. It probably have a better chance of winning the lottery. But, yeah. Your question, Teresa, this one takes some thinking. Sorry. If you wanted to travel to 3 adjacent U.S. states that all started with the same letter, you would have to travel to which 3 states? 3 adjacent states that start with the same letter. Is that A, Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, Massachusetts, and Maryland, or C, Kansas, Kentucky, and Connecticut?
I think I'm gonna go A. 73 LKE5 MUX.
That college education paid off. Yeah, it's Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa are the only 3 states you can go to. I'll have start with the first letter. Okay, happy motoring. Thank you, Teresa. Let's go to Robert, Kelly Ridge, Australia. VK2DY. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? And Robert, this U.S. specific question, would you like a different one? Let me know when you tell me your decision to travel in time.
Good afternoon, Alex. This is Robert, VK2DY. Well, I like to meet my ancestors, but you know what? If you're going to go meet your descendants, and then you're going to be able to do something else, then I'm going to go look around the future. I don't really know that much about the past, so I'm going to go with the descendants in the future. VK2DY. Oh, and let's try a non-specific question. Nobody tried that, so let me go with that. That's a new topic. VK2DY.
No problem. We understand that. Of course, you lived here for a while, but you've been in Australia so long, you probably hop like a kangaroo. So, yeah. Your question, Robert, is Pharaoh Ramses IV was buried with these in his eye sockets. What they put in his eye sockets when they buried gold coins, B, onions, or C, someone else's eyeballs.
Okay, 2DY. I'm trying to think here. Well, no, it has to have an unusual answer to it. So let's go with the onions. That's the most unusual answer, I think. So let's go with onions. VK2DY.
And that's the one, yeah, onions. Yeah, they buried Ramses. They buried Pharaoh Ramses IV with onions in his eye sockets because onions were revered for their healing properties, and it's thought that their many layers also represented eternal life, both of which would be attractive to a dying king. So you got it. Thanks, buddy. Alex in Pasadena, KD5, Texas, that is. KD5JZ. Okay, Alex, back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future?
Hello, Alex. Actually, I'd be interested in both, but given a choice, I think I would want to go forward in time and see my descendants. Okay, so I was born and raised in Chicago, and now live in Texas for time that I spent there, so I haven't been on the East Coast or the West Coast. So, I don't know. I guess it depends on where you draw the line. Oh, that's already drawn. Never mind. I'm ready for it, Alex.
Well, I'm basing it on east of the Mississippi and west of the Mississippi just because that sounds cool. Nobody from Minnesota has checked in yet. I think they're west of the Mississippi. It starts up around there. So, anyway. Your question, Alex, we'll give you a something that's in the East Coast would probably know. In New York City, what is a bodega? a bodega in New York? Is that A large recreational vehicle, B, a small convenience store, or C, a day where the seagulls attack you?
I'd like C. Let's be random and go for B. I have no clue, so let's try. Have a great night, Alex. Good subject matter. K85HAZ, back to you, sir.
Oh, you got the Alfred Hitchcock movie reference there. You're correct. Yeah, bodega in New York is a small convenience store. There are thousands of them all over the city, so which they're pretty much extinct out here in the West. All we have are the chain stores, but now and then you see them in downtown Phoenix. So. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. This is W7FTM in Scottsdale, Arizona. Going next to Grayson in Orlando, Florida. KT4BUT, our Friday night Usenet controller. Grayson, would you rather go back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Yes, thank you, Alex, for having me on this wonderful net and this wonderful night. I want to go in the future because I just want to see, like, the end of, you know, like how ham radio will tone up in like 100 years or so.
I got you, future. Yeah, you like to see also how things are going to work out. But that's, you know, another topic. All right, Grayson, your question is, since you're in the East Coast, in 2014, San Diego officially dedicated May 29th to which famous skateboarder? A, Jeff Spicoli, B, Kickflip Ken, or C, Tony Hawk?
well, I only know Tony Hawk, so let's go with C. Thank you for having me on this net.
And thank you for playing, Grayson, and yeah, that's it, Tony Hawk. Although Kickflip Ken, isn't that a great name? Skateboard. Anyway, it's Tony Hawk. You got it, buddy. Thanks. Stephanie and Larry in Elk Grove at KN6JLW at KN6JLX. Okay, back to meet your ancestors, or to the future to meet your descendants. Which would you rather do?
Hey Alex, it's Larry KN6JLX along with Stephanie KN6JLW, and we haven't spawned, so I think our only option is going back in time and meeting our ancestors, although neither of us like our families either, so I don't know. Maybe we're just stuck in the present. Go ahead with our question.
You know, you live pretty close to some good rivers and streams you could spawn in. I don't see why you haven't. But none of my business. Okay. Okay, you're in California, so your East Coast question is, in Florida slang, Floridian slang, what does parked in goofy mean? Parked in goofy. A, when you're parked in the furthest parking lot you're going to. B, when your wife parks the truck at 3 inches from the vehicles on either side. Or C, an unmentionable act involving a Disney character. What do you think?
Hey Alex, Stephanie's going to go Bravo, but I'm going to go Charlie, just for the hell of it. Thanks for doing that, and have a good weekend.
Ooh, strikeout. You can see. Actually, parked in goofy in Florida means when you're parked in the furthest away parking lot of the place you're going to. It gets its roots from Walt Disney World in Florida, where the goofy parking lot was furthest from the center, so you had to walk a long way. But if you're goofy, I guess it doesn't matter. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Kevin in Anaheim. AJ6EE Kevin. Better travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants.
Well, good evening, Alex, everybody on the net. I did a little digging around on this topic. I find it very interesting. I'd probably go back in time. I was thinking first about my grandparents on both sides who were wonderful people. Really had a big impact on my life and just loving and caring people. I went on my Instagram and I went back as far as I could find, and I have a great-great-great-grandmother who was born in 1867 and back then Alaska, the deal for Alaska was made, and Andrew Jackson was the president after Lincoln was killed. Looked like life was pretty rough back then. No electricity, no refrigeration other than ice blocks and things. So it'd probably be a little rough for me to go back then, and they probably wouldn't understand anything I'm talking about as far as ham radios and social media. But it was
you live just as long as people do today. It's just that the statistics are kind of skewed because a lot of people die in childhood. You know, we have better healthcare now, and the kids make it so they live just as long. And anyway, your question, Kevin, is what's the name of the stadium that the Boston Red Sox play in? The name of the Boston Red Sox stadium, is it A, Red Sox Stadium, B, Fenway Park, or C, Tony Macaroni Arena?
I love this net. Let me just put that in as an aside. Boston. I used to work for them. They were from Boston, and the owner's wife would say, you wore your shots today. You're wearing your shots, meaning my shorts, meaning cutoffs. Don't cut too far. It's not C. B, I think, is Chicago, so let's go with A. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Well, you got the dialect down. It's actually the Red Sox play in Fenway Park. Fenway Park. By the way, there is a Tony Macaroni Arena in Scotland, of all places, that belongs to the Livingston Football Club. So I didn't just pull that one out of my... Thank you, Kevin. Roy in Blasdell, New York. Key. How you doing, Roy? Okay, back in time to meet your ancestors, or to the future and meet your descendants? What would you rather do, if either?
Everybody on the net, KA-BYU. Well, director says that time travel is impossible, according to Star Trek, but I would have to say I'd probably want to go see how my descendants are doing. Too much chance of screwing up than going to the past.
What do you think, Roy? 20 years ago, left us some Bitcoin. Anyway, but you're still around. If we would have left us some Bitcoin. Anyway. All right, your question, Roy, is, okay, so the West Coast for you, since you're in New York. Which popular two-word rum cocktail, invented in Oakland, California in 1944, takes its name from the Tahitian word for excellent? What cocktail are we talking about? A, the Molotov cocktail, very popular with the Oakland Antifa chapter. B, the Kama Sutra, or C, the Mai Tai. Which one, Roy?
Surely, Mai Tai.
And yeah, that's it, the Mai Tai. I didn't even know that one. And of course, Sutra is something else. Thank you, Roy. It's a W7FTM in Scottsdale, Arizona. You listen to the Serenade Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector. And we have Kate. Who's next? KE2. That's it. KE2, FCH, John in Buffalo, New York. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Alex for this net, and hello to everybody out there. As the ponytails would say, I was born too late, so I'm going back in time to meet my ancestors. And I'm ready for my question.
Okay, let's try this. I need to reconnect something. Okay, that butter's back. Anyway, John, try it again, please.
Yeah, I'm here, Alex. I'm ready for my question.
Okay, here we go. Which animal is on the state flag of Oregon? A duck, B, a beaver?
Sure, the Oregon ducks are the popular animal there, so I'm going to go with B.
Yeah, I thought I'd get somebody with that duck, but you're correct. It's a beaver is on the state flag of Oregon. And for those of you on the East Coast, a jackalope is a mythical creature that's a cross between a jackrabbit and an antelope. Native to the southwestern U.S., it's often seen by people who use peyote. Thank you. John, hopefully everything's working right now. Bob in Leesburg, Florida, KO4APG. Okay, Bob, you want to go back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? 4 APG. Bob, are you still with us? Okay, I guess not. Jason in Oakville, Ontario, Canada, VA3DFG, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am. Thank you for doing the net like always. Much appreciated. Me and the wife decided not to have any kids, so I guess it would have to be going into the past, but it seems like an awkward family reunion, so I think I just have to take a pass and stay right here in the present.
Good reasoning. Not that option would ever come up, but who knows? Your question, Jason, is San Diego produces over 60% of this California crop, the most of any place in the U.S. What crop are we talking about? A, cannabis. B, avocado. C, grape.
I have no real idea, so I'll just take a crazy guess on Bravo there. Thank you for doing the net again, and see you next time.
Yep, that was a good guess. And yeah, it's avocado. 60% of the avocado, or 6% of avocado is produced in California. So it's the most of any state, any place in the U.S. for that matter. Thank you, Jason. Fred in Reno, K7OG. You want to travel back in the time to meet your ancestors, or to the future to meet your descendants?
KK7OGC, Fred in Reno. You know, I have no offspring that I know of. Therefore, I'm go back to my descendants and learn about the family that I don't know about.
Could be interesting. You don't know. Depends on where your family tree has been. I guess you're always planted, I should say. All right, Fred, your question is, obviously in the western U.S., we'll give you an eastern question. When someone in New York says dead ass, they mean A, lazy or shiftless, B, worthless or useless, or C, honest or serious.
I'm going to go with Charlie on that one, Alex, and thank you for running the net, and thank you, Vicky, for logging. KK7OGC, I'll be back to net.
Yeah, it's the one you wouldn't think, which is C, you're correct. Yeah, dead ass, when they say dead ass in New York, they mean you're honest or serious. It's a slang term used to express honesty or seriousness. It's similar to saying seriously or for real. For example, if someone tells you a rat carrying a slice of pizza down the steps of a crowded subway station made national news, you might respond by saying, dead ass, I didn't know that. And if you want to see a short, clever, and funny video, go to YouTube and enter pizza rat behind the pizza. Pizza rat behind a pizza. It's quite entertaining. Although people in New York are probably sick of that meme by now. Anyway, thanks. Thank you, Fred. Allen, Plantation, Florida. Welcome, Allen, to the net. I see you're new at W4AJK Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors, to the future to meet your descendants?
Thank you for hosting the net. This is Kilo Oscar 4 Tango Charles Romeo. I appreciate just listening to the rant. And thank you for being there and, have something to listen to and rant about. So thank you very much. You guys have a great afternoon. 73s, everybody.
Thank you, Alan. And your question is this, so I'll give you a West Coast question. The Emerald Triangle, composed of California's Humboldt, Trinity, and the Mendocino counties, gets its name from the fact that it is the United States leading producer of which plant? A, cannabis, B, avocado, or C?
He kind of broke up, but I guess United States, that was the choice.
I no problem, we'll try it again. The Emerald Triangle in California, from the fact that it's the United States producer of which plant? Is it A, cannabis, B, avocado, or C, grape?
I'm not sure, really. Sorry about that.
It's okay, Alan. It's not an extra. Just pick A, B, or C. All right then. Actually, the correct answer to that question is B or A. Lord, no, I'm doing it. Cannabis, the Emerald Triangle in California gets its name from the fact that it's the lead producer of cannabis in the U.S. But yeah, thanks. Thanks, Alan. Brian in Kentucky, AC or BR. Brian, would you rather time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Man, that was, I love that. That was a great response.
Your response again, we're having a little trouble reading the last noise in there.
Anybody copied it, the kilowatt one juicy tomato.
And Mr. Tamano, we'll get to you in a bit, or almost getting ready to call for more people. Did you hear me, Brian? You want to try it again?
Sorry. Better now. Say your thing off, yeah.
All right then. Well, we are having too much trouble copying you. We'll give you a check-in anyway, and better luck next time. Andy in Cheektowaga, New York. W2AJR. I know I can hear you. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? Yes, still there, Andy. W2AJ.
Yeah, Alex, I'm here. Do you have a copy on me now?
Yes, we do, man. All right, to the future, or back into meet your ancestors, or to the future to meet whatever kids you manage to hopefully produce as your grandchildren.
Well, there were some pretty interesting characters in my past, so I'm going to go back to the past and check them out. I might drop a couple of stock tips and maybe a few Super Bowl winners on them as well.
But then you miss the timeline. You know what happens when you do that. But I hear you. Your question is, when someone in California says, that was clutch, man, clutch, they're describing A, a mechanism for connecting and disconnecting an engine and the transmission system in a vehicle. B, someone who has unexpectedly saved the day by their actions. A group of seagulls who like to steal items from people on the beach. What's clutch mean in California?
Well, when they're not gagging me with a spoon, I would say that would be B. Back to you, Alex.
Oh, that's right. You got seagulls over there, too. Yeah, you're right. It's B. Clutch in California means someone who has unexpectedly saved the day by their actions. For example, if you're on a beach and your baggie of cannabis gets stolen by a seagull, I hate when that happens, and your girlfriend gives you some of her cannabis, that's clutch for sure. Thank you, Andy. Alan, Lubbock, Texas, N7, WZI. Okay, back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants. Which one? Or Alan?
I'd like to go about 200 years back in time and see what my ancestors are all about. What's the next one?
Okay, Alan, since you're in Texas, I'm going to give you a East of the Mississippi question. Mississippi question. There's only one U.S. state. Wow, this one's kind of hard. There's only one U.S. state with 4 syllables in its name that borders no other states with exactly 4 syllables in their name. Now, for example, Arizona is bordered by several 4-syllable states. New Mexico and Colorado. Which state are we talking about that has 4 syllables but has no other states bordering it? I'm making it a lot harder than it really is. Is it A, Indiana, B, Pennsylvania, or C, Ontario?
Heck, I wouldn't have guessed any of it. I'd probably just said Utah.
Well, Utah is not an answer. It only has two syllables. I mean, Utah, yeah. So one of those, A, B, or C, what do you think?
Yeah, what were those ones again?
Indiana, Pennsylvania, or Ontario. Like any other state with four syllables in it. What do you think?
Okay, I'm going to try Ontario.
I think the Canadians are jamming you right now, Alan. Actually, the only U.S. state with four syllables that borders no other states with four syllables is Indiana. It's bordered by Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and Illinois. They all have three syllables in their perspectives. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Alan. I wouldn't have gotten that one, so thanks. Thanks for Frank and Lancaster, New York. KC2 JPQ. Oh, Frank, glad you could make it. Would you rather travel back?
Yeah, they have a song called
Indiana
Indiana
into the future to meet your descendants?
Good evening, Alex, and everybody on the net. I'd like to go back and meet some of my descendants, or ancestors, I'm sorry. Ready for my question. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Frank, here in New York, I'll give you a West Coast question. Okay, when someone in California says it's time to post up, they mean A, send an email, B, go hang out with friends, or C, post bail after being arrested for shooting seagulls on the beach. What does that mean?
Can I phone a friend? Just kidding. With B Bravo. Have a great week, Alex. I'll talk next week. KC2 JPQ.
Darn seagulls, I'm going to steal my cannabis anymore. You're correct. It's B, go hang out with friends. Nicely done, Frank. I didn't know that one. Job means they want to, in California means they want to go hang out with their friends. Thank you, Frank. All right, Bob, Florida, KO4APG. All right, we'll try it again, Bob. Hopefully we can get through this time. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? I think I got that right.
D-Star, but I guess I switched over to All-Star. I'm used breaking up also, but so I guess I'd like to get time, as long as I don't cause any change to the future as they do in those science fiction movies. Yeah, I guess I'd like to visit my relatives more. I didn't know them that much, and they did seem to be pretty interesting people from what I can determine. Back to you, Alex.
Yeah, no problem, Bob. Got you down for ancestors. Yeah, don't spread off that path and step butterfly, whatever you do. Your question is, what neighborhood in Los Angeles has canals like the place that was named after? Is that A, Venice, B, Paris, or C, Mars? Did you get the question, Bob?
Can you hear me? Back to you.
Yep, we can hear you now. What would your answer again?
Alpha.
I couldn't fool you with Mars. Yeah, it's right. It's Venice. Yeah, Venice, California is named after Venice, Italy, because of the canals. Although it's a little bit of disarray right now, but I won't go there. All right, thank you, Bob. This is W7FTM in Scotts, Arizona. You listen to the Saturday Night Trivia Net along with KY Vicky logging in the background, and we're taking more questions. No, wait. I'm giving more questions. We're taking more check-ins. Come now, please.
Kilo India 7, Lima Alpha Golf. Kilo India 7, Lima Alpha Golf.
Zulu X-ray.
7 Zulu Bravo. Kilo Charlie 7 Zulu Bravo.
Whiskey 9 Delta Whiskey Hotel with Kilo 7 Zulu Tango X-ray. Kilo Delta 9er Tango Alpha Foxtrot KD9 TAF.
Lima Hotel Yankee.
Okay, picked up 7 more stations there. Let's hold it there. We have Patrick in Beaverton, Oregon, KI7LAG. Daryl in Lubbock, KC5CX. Welcome back. We have Harold in Hillsboro, Oregon, KC7ZZB. B9DWH, David in Owensboro. Welcome back, buddy. KK7ZTX. Jaron in they're checking, it looks like. Welcome. KD9TAF, Kyle in Verona, New Jersey, and KJ5LH Daniel in New Caney, Texas. The question of the night, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? Patrick Beaverton, KI7LAG, what's he?
Good evening, Alex. This is Patrick, KI7LAG. I go back in time and party with my ancestors because I'm finding I got more and more in common with them than with kids today. Go ahead with your question.
And despite what history might try to tell you, they really knew how to party, too. Yep, Patrick, your question is, you're in the West Coast, or obviously, so your East Coast question is, what does a jug handle mean in New Jersey? A, a bigger belly. B, a broken bottle used in a street fight. Or C, a traffic pattern for left turns on busy highways.
Well, I think East Coast, West Coast, we all go for that one pack. I'm going to go with A Alpha, KI7LAG, back to net.
And it have in common, well, not everyone, but a jug handle in Jersey actually is C, a traffic pattern for left turns on busy highways. Yeah, I've never heard of this. Other states allow drivers to turn left on the highway from a lane between opposing sides. Not New Jersey. Drivers must make a U-turn through a series of lights and or stop signs to enter the opposite side of the highway. That sounds like it takes a lot of math. Anyway, yeah, that's what a jug handle is in Jersey. Thank you, Patrick. Daryl in Lubbock, KC5 at CZX. You either go back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants.
Well, I believe I would like to go to the future and meet my descendants. Hopefully, they smartened up better than I did. So go ahead with the question. KC5CZX.
Oh, anyway, your question, General, is, okay, let's see, East Coast question. Maryland is famous for its crabs. Maryland is. What native species of crab is the most common in this? A, crab, B, blue crab, or C, Eugene H. crabs?
Well, I'll have to go with the blue crab on that one, sir.
Yep, well done, Daryl. It's the blue crab. It's the native species of crab in Maryland that's the most common. So you got it, buddy. Thank you. Harold in Hillsboro, Oregon, KC7ZZB. Back in time to meet your ancestors, to the future to meet your descendants, Harold.
It has some pretty interesting ancestors, so I'd definitely like to go back in time. 7ZZB.
Thank you, Harold. My mother's side, they have Civil War for the Confederates, and well, anyway, we'll go into that again. Your question is, it's the East Coast state does not allow you to pump your own gas. Is it A, New Jersey, B, New York, or C, New England?
Yes, I'll say New Jersey. KC7ZZB.
Yeah, it's Jersey. I may have done that question on the net a year or two ago, but yeah, it's you're not allowed to pump your own gas in New Jersey. And by the way, 20 regular cash is a Jersey slang term, meaning you like $20 worth of regular gas put into your car, and then you'll pay with cash. So they just say 20 regular cash. He goes, okay, take some money and. Thank you, Harold. The W7FD. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Going next to David in Owensboro, Kentucky. 9 DWH. Okay, David. To the past to meet your ancestors, or to the future to meet your descendants? Which would you rather do?
Good evening, Alex, and everyone on the net. Don't have any children of mine, but my wife and I are raising a little one through kinship care. And we've had a couple per that we've done through kinship. And so I'd probably like to go into the future and just see how they're coming along, and if we'll just see whether we did our job, sir.
I agree with you, David, on that one. That's more interesting to see what happened, or it's going to happen. All right, your question is, it's the which park in California's Sierra Nevada mountains is known for the mountain named El Capitan? B, Yosemite National Park, B, Yellowstone National Park, or C, Six Flags over North Mexico?
No idea. You got me this time around, so I'll just put the possibilities down the middle and say bravo. Thanks for running the net, Alex, and I'll catch you next week. W9 DBH.
Well, you got the first letter right anyway, Dave. That's Yosemite National Park in California. Has the mountain called El Capitan. And I've never been there either, but I hear it's really pretty. Thanks, David. Jern in Portland, Oregon, KK7ZTX. Jern, welcome to the net, and would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
I think I'd rather travel forward in time to meet my descendants. I think it would be pretty fascinating to see how my actions today ripple, and I want to see how the world evolves. Go ahead with your East Coast question, KK7ZTX.
Okay, Jern, since you're in Portland, your East Coast question is, Oregon that is, not Maine, because that would be a West Coast here. Anyway. Your question is, New York City and Oklahoma City are the most populous cities in their respective states. Indianapolis is the most populous in Indiana. What's the only other state whose most populous city contains the name of the state? Yeah, you seem pretty smart. I think you got it. A, Virginia. B, Maine. C, Quebec.
I actually have no clue, so I'm going to split down the middle and go with Bravo. KK7ZTX, thanks for listening to that. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a city in Maine called Maine, but it's not the most populous. It's Virginia. Virginia Beach is actually the most populous city in Virginia, and it contains the name Virginia, like New York contains New York City or Oklahoma City. Well, anyway, you get it. So, hey, thanks for playing, buddy. Glad you can make the net. Hope to hear you next Saturday. Let's go to Kyle in Verona, New Jersey. KD9TAF. Kyle, back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet those descendants? What do you say?
This is KD9TAF. I would have to say forward in time. I like the gentleman right before me's answer. Get to see how my actions ripple and affect. And in addition, I think it'd be cool to see what the future is like. I know you can only learn so much from history, but we've got a lot better of an idea of what happened in the past than we do of what happened in the future, so that'd be cool to see. Also, for the question, I lived in Chicago till about a year ago, so I've got the Midwest down pretty well, I'd say. So maybe want to ask a West Coast question for me. Back to net control.
All right, Kyle, West Coast it is. Your question is, which city on the West Coast is the primary setting for the sitcom Frasier, which ran from 1993 to 2004? God, is that old? Is it A, Seattle, B, San Francisco, C, Bodega Bay? Watch out for the seagulls there. What do you think?
Oh my goodness. My dad likes the show Frasier. I do not know. I'm gonna have to go with A, Alpha. Let's see how I did.
It's funny, your dad likes the show Frasier, and my kids like the show Frasier. You're correct. Yeah, it's Seattle. Seattle was the setting for Frasier. Thanks. Okay. Thanks, Kyle. Daniel, and hang on a second.
Thank you. Thanks for running the net. Have a good night. KD9TAF.
Okay, I'll stop laughing now. Daniel in New Caney, Texas, KJ5LHY. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Yeah, Alex, I think I'd rather look at the past, just seeing what my actions lead to in the future might lead to some kind of existential crisis for me, so I'm going to have to go with the past.
Yeah, good point. Who wants to know all that if it turns out wrong? All right, Daniel, your question is, what is the largest, since you're in Texas, your East Coast question is, what is the largest blackwater swamp in the U.S.? The largest blackwater swamp. Is that A, the Everglades, B, Okefenokee, Washington, D.C.?
I'm going to have to go with the Okefenokee because it's the only one I've ever heard of. Other than that, I have no idea. Thanks, Alex. Back to you.
Besides, it has a nice ring to it, and yeah, it's at Okefenokee. The Everglades is in a blackwater swamp, although some people might think, why should you see what's the it's Okefenokee, yeah. Blackwater refers to the dark water caused by decaying vegetation. Again, some people would think Washington. Taking more check-ins for the Cernet Trivia Net. Full call sign phonetically twice.
L4RC Kilo Lima 4 race car series. For OSU, not for Ohio State University. Go Badgers.
Yes, 5 Kilo Romeo dead.
W9JAY, Whiskey 9, Juliet.
This is 5 Bravo Lima 6 Kilo 5 Bravo Lima 6 Toronto Texas.
Kilo India 5 Whiskey Kilo India 5 Whiskey uniform.
Victor Kilo 3 Alpha Whiskey Alpha. Victor Kilo 3 Alpha Whiskey Alpha.
That's 7 more check-ins to our East versus West trivia tonight. KL4RCS, Rich in Wasilla, Alaska. Well, Middle Lakes, I know it. Okay. Welcome back, buddy. And for OSU, not for OSU, but Jerry in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. KG5 KRZ, Daryl in Magnolia, Texas. W9JYJ in Texas. Welcome back, Jay. J5BOB, Gerardo in Pasadena, Texas. KI5WWU, Lynn in Houston. And VK3AWA, Daryl, Paradise Beach, Australia. Hey, welcome, buddy. All right, the question of the night, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? Rich, Meadow Lakes, KL4RCS, what do you say?
Alex and all the net. I'm sorry, I just got in here shortly. You're breaking up quite a bit on my side. Could you please repeat the question?
You bet. The question of the night is, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Well, good evening, Alex and all the net. Let me start that over. KL4RCS, Rich, Meadow Lakes, Alaska, 53 degrees. Wonderful day out there today. I'm going to have to go with the past to meet the ancestors. I think that would be really, really cool because my mom was born in Germany, so I've always wanted to go there and check out some stuff. Awesome to be back on the net. I've been working a new job, so I haven't been able to get up. Thank you, Alex. Really appreciate you. My friend, oh, great to hear your voice. KL4RCS, back to net control.
Yeah, I was wondering where you've been keeping yourself, Rich. Okay, buddy. All right, your question is, we're doing an east versus west tonight. Keeping track of the most correct questions percentage-wise. Eastern half to the western half of the U.S., and you're obviously the western half. You don't live in the Aleutian Islands, do you? Because that would put you over the International Bay. No, you don't. Your question is, I'm going to ask you, which 1892, hang on, which 1982 Billy Joel song laments the downfall of this once robust industrial city in Pennsylvania? Which Billy Joel song were you looking for? A, Allentown, B, Pittsburgh, C, Scranton.
I'm going to try Alpha tonight, Alex. Thanks for doing the net. Always great to hear your voice. KL4RCS.
And a big Billy Joel fan. That's actually one of his better songs. That's right, Allentown. Yeah, the closure of Bethlehem Steel took most of the jobs and related businesses with it. Yeah, so hopefully those people are doing better now. Thank you, Rich. It's a WFTM in Scottsdale, Arizona. You're listening to the Saturday Night Trivia Net on the East Coast Reflector in Fort Lauderdale. In for, would you rather go back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Guys, go back in time so I can straighten out the things I screwed up and sock it to me on the question. We're waiting.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get another chance. Jerry, your question is, okay, in Florida, I'll give you a West Coast one. Which West Coast city is the home to Comic-Con International? Comic-Con, you know, where they dress up as the characters and all that. Is it A, San Diego, B, San Francisco, or C, San Nerdo?
I know from nothing about the West Coast over there, so I'll take B. This is N4, OSU, not for Ohio State University. We're down. We thank you for putting on the net.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. Glad you can make it. Yeah, it's, well, San Francisco, they dress up, but it's, well, never mind. San Diego is what we're looking for. San Diego hosts Comic-Con, and it's not all like young kids. I saw one older couple there one time, just pictures. I haven't actually been to it. The guy was dressed up as Major Anthony Nelson and his wife like Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie. I thought that was pretty darn cool, actually. So. Thank you, Jerry. Daryl, Texas, KJ5KRZ. Back in time to meet your ancestors, to the future. Daryl?
Yeah, good evening, KRZ. KJ5 KRZ. I would probably go back in time to meet my ancestors who signed the Texas Declaration of Independence back there at least, and maybe farther back than that.
Ancestors, and your question, Daryl, is the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan is served by an airport named after which U.S. president? A, Jimmy Carter, B, Benjamin Harrison, or C, Gerald Ford?
Then come on, go ahead and go with C.
Well, maybe because I didn't realize this, but yeah, Gerald Ford. Yeah, the airport in Grand Rapids is named after President Gerald Ford. So you got something named after. Thank you, Gerald. W9JAY, Jay and Sealy. How you doing, buddy? Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Hey, Al, it's good to hear talk to him much anymore. Let's see, I would want to go to the future. Gosh, I don't know. Probably back to the past. Anyway, yes, it's W9JAY here.
Hey, Scott J. Your question is, thanks, buddy. What is most famous for? Maine. State up there, I think in the Northeast. A, lobster rolls, B, bagels, or C, sushi?
They're A, lobster rolls, because they are known for their lobsters, as far as I know, thanks to W9JAY.
Yeah, that's it. I'm supposed to say what food is Maine most famous for, and it's the A, lobster rolls. Yep. Thank you, Jay. Thanks for playing, buddy. Let's go to Gerardo in Pasadena, Texas, KJ5BLV. Gerardo, okay, back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? What do you want to do? Now it's KJ5BLV, Reflector, Pasadena, Texas. As much as I love history, I studied history in college. I would like to meet my future relatives. Ready for my question? Thank you, Gerardo. Got you down. Question is, you're in Pasadena, so what's the name of that famous, oddly circular-shaped museum in New York City? You ever seen that? Is it A, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, B, the UFO Museum, or C, the Guggenheim Museum? All right, since I have a son currently living in Brooklyn, I'm going to go with that. I'm going with Alvin. Thank you so much for running the net, and have a great evening. And the Met is up there. The Met is there. It's not shaped oddly in a circular pattern like C, the Guggenheim Museum. Haven't been to that one either, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting architectural design or monstrosity, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, thank you, Gerardo. In Houston, KI5WW. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants? One.
Good evening, Alex. Thanks for running the net. KI5WW. I think I'll go forward with the descendants because if I went back in the past, I might have to somebody that I should have probably fought against in some battle somewhere or another. So, ready for my question, sir?
Oh yeah, they'd stick your butt in uniform to get to the front lines because that's kind of the way it was. Then, Lynn, your question is, which Great Lake does Lake Erie flow into? A, Lake Ontario, B, Lake Michigan, or C, Lake Superior?
KI5WW, I'm Lake Ontario. Great, thank you, KI5W.
Father below Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie. My apologies to Gordon Lightfoot. That is correct. Yeah, Lake Ontario. You got it, Lynn. Thanks for playing. Daryl in Paradise Beach, Australia. 38WA. Now, Daryl, key down a while. It takes a while for your signal to get over here. So, would you rather travel back in the time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Ethan, Alex, and those on the net. I think I'd rather go forward, Alex. This country was based on criminals and their soldiers as guards. I might get a shock if I go backwards. I'll go forward and see what the future holds. So, back to you.
Future it is. Well, they weren't bad criminals. I mean, you know, England just executed the ones that were really bad, the ones that were just, petty theft on the Central Australia. So, you know, you got that. I meant to ask you, would you like a question that is not U.S. specific, because these are kind of East Coast of the U.S. versus West Coast tonight. So would you like just a general question, or you want to try a U.S. question?
I think I'll go for a U.S. question. Thanks, Alex.
Taking it on, I like that. Well, since you're on the other side of the international date line, I'll give you an East Coast. It's really far east. Your question is, the second largest park, national park, the second largest national park in Arizona is A, Grand Canyon National Park, B, Saguaro National Park, or Rattlesnake Gulch National Park.
I think I'll go for A, Alex. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Gerald, I missed that. Which one of those?
Sorry, I might have jumped in too quick. I'll go for A. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, actually, the second largest in Arizona is B, Park. The Grand Canyon is the biggest, of course. Saguaro National Park, 2,000 acres of all these weird-looking cacti sticking up everywhere. We all love out here because it's Arizona. And compared to the Grand Canyon, which is the largest at 1,218,000 acres, you can walk around there in the for quite some time. Thanks. Thank you, Gerald. Appreciate that. Any more check-ins now? Full call sign phonetically twice, please.
Hey, Alex, this is AC4BR. Hope you can hear me this time. AC4BR.
KC5J, Kilo Juliet 5 Juliet, November Juliet.
And we picked up two more on our East Coast versus West Coast. Net tonight, trigger net tonight, AC4BR. Brian, yeah, you're coming in fine this time, buddy, no problem. In Monticello, Kentucky, and KJ5, J&J, Justin, and Conroe, welcome back. Question of the night, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors, or to the future to meet your descendants? Over to you, Brian, AC4.
Yeah, good evening, Alex and everybody on the net. I'm going to go with future, I guess, just to see how well things turn out, you know, especially the children. So, back there.
Yeah, it didn't turn out like us. Your question is, see, Kentucky, you have a Western question. What type of lager is made by fermenting yeast at a warmer than normal temperature What type of lager beer is made by fermenting yeast at a warmer than normal temperature? Historically, it comes from Bavaria and is associated with the West, where it's produced by brands like Anchor. Is that A, navy beer, B, steam beer, C, green beer?
Well, Alex, to be honest, I'm not a beer drinker. It never did really do anything for me. So, but I'm gonna guess C, Charlie, the AC4BO.
Well, see, there you go. A beer drinker would know not to choose the green beer. It's a beer that's probably gone bad. Anyway, it's steam beer. Steam beer is the lager we're looking for. They ferment the yeast at a warmer than normal temperature, and we get Bavaria, and Anchor produces Anchor Steam and a few other beers. They're okay. I mean, they're not. I prefer something more dark, but it's depends on your individual taste. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Justin and Conroe, KJ5J&J. Back in time to meet your ancestors, to the future to meet your descendants. What do you say, Justin?
KJ5JNJ. Although I do identify as Justin Conroe, I am currently Justin in Missouri. And good to thanks for doing the net. I am going to say that I would prefer to go back in time and my ancestors so that I could whatever I could about I in a way that, and then hopefully corrections more accurately and effectively to my teaching of my children so that they can make it a little bit better. I think. Go ahead, Bud.
Oh yeah, I agree with you there. Teach your children well. I believe that was a song, if I remember correctly. You're okay. Well, you're still either place. You're still west of the Mississippi. So your question is, oh, this one takes some thinking too. Some people have pointed out that if you draw a line around the states that border the Mississippi River to the west, they combine to look like a chef holding a pan. Which eastern state is the pan? A, Indiana, Kentucky, or C, Tennessee?
Gonna take Tennessee, sir. Thank you very much.
You see, now that's somebody with a knowledge of geography and good visual acuity because, yeah, it's Tennessee. It looks like Tennessee is a pan that the chef is holding. Minnesota is the hat. Iowa's the face. Missouri is his body. Anyway, thank you, Justin. You got it. Thanks. I'm taking more check-ins for Cernite TriviaNet. Full call sign. Phonetically twice, please, for East Coast, West Coast. Come now, please. Okay, one more call. Anybody, anywhere? You want to check into the East Coast Reflector? Full call sign. Phonetically twice, please. Okay, well, let's see how we did here. All right, we had 42 people check in total. And of those who answered questions, we had 27 people got their question correct, and only 14 people missed their questions. Now I'm going to try to do this on the fly to see the percentage as far as the which east or west side of the country got the most correct. Hang on a second. Let me first go to the question of the night. Would you rather travel back in time, ancestors, or forward to meet your descendants? Ancestors was the most popular. 26 people saying ancestors, 15 people saying they'd rather go to the future. That's 63%, 63% to 36%. Anyway, it's going to take a few minutes to tabulate this, and we're going to go ahead and clear the net now, and I'll come back a little bit later if you're all still listening. And I'd like to say, I'd like to thank everybody who participated tonight, with special thanks to K8 VKY for logging the net, and N70KN and John for use of his Mesa, Arizona repeater. We now return control of the ECR back to you until at the same time when the control voice will take you to the Saturday night trivia net. Good night, W7FTM clear for now, and I'll come back later with those stats. Take care.
Well, this is definitely West Coast versus the East Coast, because most of the people on the East Coast will be sound asleep. But thanks, Alex and Vicky, for the net. I love the new format, or at least the format for tonight. Have a great evening, everyone. KF6 HDJ. Until next week.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. If I ever do this again, I'll have it ready next time. I've seen how it works, and we'll have the results right away, but it shouldn't take too long. Vicky's already laid out the charts and the math and everything. Shouldn't take long. Thanks. Thanks again, W7FTM.
Oh, I was more worried about feeling like I totally was able to cheat tonight. But no one can ever say I don't have integrity. KF6 HDJ 73.
Integrity, I don't even know how to spell that. KK7HLD, the standing by for the results, and thank you very much again, Alex and Vicky. Yeah, you agree with the other callers. Great job. Always very fantastic. And Vicky. 395 WW, Lynn in Houston. I'll be on the side.
And the results are in. This is W7FTM, the East versus West Coast Trivia Net tonight. It looks like they'll put a little better at 60%, getting their questions correct in the East at 40%. So, yeah, we'll try this again. And, of course, that's percentage-wise for people who checked in because we had more West Coasters, but they still got most of the answers correct. So a little bit more anyway than the East Coast. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. W7FTM. And, of course, to Vicky KY, we thank you again. And we'll clear 7-3.